Transparent headers are very popular. There was a time you couldn't find them. All the headers were fixed to the top. But nowadays we love transparent headers. I always look for a reason why I can make my header transparent. And this used to be a premium feature. You couldn't get a WordPress theme that would have given you transparent headers for free. Since Blocksy and a number of other headers have made this standard, you can get it. So if you are working with a free theme that doesn't give you transparent headers, you should switch. We are still here on the pages within the customizer because headers are connected to the theme. We click back here to go to our option settings on the left. And because we are working with headers, select the header under general options. And from here, okay, we open the header builder. It's a little bit like, where are my headers? Over here, there's another tab, select that, headers. And then it says global header. What does that mean? Don't get too confused by this word. When you have Blocksy Pro and you do another few installations of their add-ons, you're going to get the opportunity to create more than one header. So that's a nice little feature to have, but that, my dear friends, is a pro feature. We only have one header. It's called a global header. So we select the global header and it gives us two features which I really like. Let me quickly show you the sticky functionality so you can understand what that is, even though we're not going to be using it. Activate sticky functionality. And now when I scroll on the page, you will see that my header remains fixed at the top, even as the user is scrolling down the page. It is sticking there. It doesn't just disappear. And you have a few options, if I'm not mistaken. Let me have a look here. Okay, this is just the animation. And then you have a few options as how it will appear. The effect, whether it will slide down. Let's see that one. Okay, so you see it comes in. And often that slides in at some point in time. And we can do auto hide and show. So auto hide and show. I'm scrolling down, there's nothing. And when I go to the auto hide and show, auto hide and show. So you scroll down, and when you scroll back up, it shows, all right? We're not going to be using the sticky functionality, so uncheck that, but I may have piqued your interest and you may say, but I want to use it. Go ahead, try it out. Here we go, transparent functionality. That's what we want. And once you add it, you're not going to see any major things that you can change here. There are some conditions that you can add. You don't have to touch this. We only have one page. And then again, go check, do you want also this transparency on your mobile device? And then decide if you need it. You can deactivate it. We're going to leave it on the default. Observe what has happened on the page. Turn off transparent functionality again, just quickly. We get our header back at the top. When we brought in this pre-made template by Blocksy, Blocksy actually added over here a logo for this pre-made template, which is WebNo. We've decided to put that logo as a logo header, which is Printco up there. Now, it would have been wise of us that before we make this header transparent, that we just remove this guy so that it doesn't give us all these issues. And the issues I'm referring to is when you activate transparent functionality, it's going to overlap and that content is going to move behind the header now. I want you to understand this problem because when I'm going to save and exit and we go into Blocksy, you're going to see it's really a challenge to get that logo out. But I'm going to show you how easy it actually is to get it out. Sometimes we run into a wall and we think it's a wall, but it's actually a gate just around the corner. And this is one of those cases. So publish it. And then we exit by clicking on the X. And that takes us to the front of this page. Let's just go back then. And you see we still have the original state here because the Blocksy builder hasn't populated the new information. How do we do that? We refresh the page and we get that ghastly looking header and hero block at the top. Right. Now, how do we remove this WebNo logo at the back? The problem is, as I hover over it, I'm actually hovering over the header. So I cannot get to that logo. And here comes in that creative spacing that you need to do. This is your block. And as we had learned in the crash course, you can go to the block settings in the top right corner, go to the settings and styling, and then you can add space in the top of the block by increasing the padding. So go to the padding, the top one, make sure they are all detached or uncoupled. Grab that slider and drag it up and see, as I do that, I'm adding space at the top of my block. Now what I've effectively done is I have brought this under the header so I can work with it. If 100 pixels aren't enough, you can type in a value, and I'm going to type in a crazy value there. And then after I've removed the logo, I'm going to reduce the value. I'll type in 200, and this brings it nicely out. Click outside to close that and hover over here. So at the top, we have two columns. Here we have an image, and in this one, there's a spacer. Below this, there's a spacer, and then we have our content. First thing, let's just remove these two columns. I'll click on the column and I'll click delete. And now there's one column left. Go to that column and click delete. From here, go back to the block settings, styling, and we reduce the padding at the top. And I can take it down. I'll put it around here on 30. Let's put it on 30. Now, where does this spacing come from that we still see here at the top? Remember, there is a spacer that's providing this space. What you can actually do is now just select the spacer and drag in the required space at the top that will make this hero section look good. And this is what the developers did from the beginning. It's great for you to learn this as well. This is why I love the spacer. The moment you go into the header section, you will be out of the block. You will not get the spacer. If I click up here, I'm not going to select the spacer because the header, the transparent header, is overriding our block. So you have to go down. The moment you see the outline, you can click and you can drag and put it on a space. If you want to know the value, let's see what we have here. 204 pixels. Let's make that a round number, 200 pixels. Type it in. The transparent header doesn't look good because we need to make changes to the color of our current template so that it can become this nice bright yellow. And this finally brings us to the thing that I've been talking about since we started this tutorial, and that is the global styling. The first global styling we're going to look at is the color scheme. How do we just easily switch out these colors without having to go to each and every one and change the colors? And then the second one is same for the typography. Isn't there an easier way? If I want to change the font from one font to another font, that I can do it one time instead of going to each of these and changing them out one by one by one, which is a drag. That global styling we're going to cover in the next chapter. Let's do that.